Hello and welcome to the Salon Services podcast for hair and beauty professionals. In each episode, we're talking to industry experts and some of the leading names in hair and beauty about everything from raising your prices through to caring for your mental health. I'm your host, Lou Sherlock, and in this episode, we're talking to salon owner and entrepreneur Caroline Sanderson about how to pick yourself up when you hit rock bottom. In 2009, Caroline was facing bankruptcy when her manager quit and took her entire client list with her and rented a chair across the road. Heavily pregnant and in debt, Caroline was convinced everything was lost. Fast forward 11 years and she's running a successful salon, is a business coach who's helped over 1,500 salons around the world, and has just written her first book. Caroline is here to share her story and her top tips for overcoming a fear of failure in your hair and beauty business. Hi Caroline, thanks for joining me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, I'm fine. You have got a really inspiring and interesting story. So I wonder if you can start back in 2009 when you were in your salon and heavily pregnant, and then your salon manager left.
It was back in 2009. It was during the last recession. And I remember it was a Wednesday in May. I specifically remember it was a Wednesday in May because I knew that I didn't have enough to pay the payroll that Friday. I was sitting in my salon staff room, and across from me was a gentleman who was there to value my business because I'd hit such rock bottom. I thought that this could be my way out. I know I'll sell it. And when he proceeded to tell me that it was worthless and it wasn't worth anything and I hadn't been making any profits, that was my kind of realization that I really was at rock bottom. Like you say, I was 8 months pregnant, about to have my third child and become a single mother. My manager of 4 years, she left work one day during that time. She'd been like, now, put your feet up, Caroline, don't you worry, you're going off on maternity. I was just about to go off on maternity, everything's going to be okay. And she left with the stolen client list under her arm and went to rent a chair across the road. So it was a rock bottom moment for me and realization that we were the two breadwinners. So we were the two, myself and her, that were taking in all the money to the salon and I just had two young graduate stylists there. They were mature stylists. They weren't so young. They were a little bit older when I took them on. So they had a bit of life experience behind them and I had trained them well, but they had never ran a full column or anything like that before. That was my kind of moment where I sat in that staff room and kind of broke down in tears, realizing what on earth am I going to do, thinking that, I've lost everything. And I kind of had that moment, when you hear about these moments where people hit rock bottom and then they have this kind of, it was almost like a letting go. I had this sort of epiphany and I asked myself this question, which was, I was asking myself things like, how did you get here? And crikey, you're useless. And what, all of these kind of self-beating things that the voices in my head. But I eventually got to this moment where I asked myself, have you actually done everything that you possibly can? Have you given it your all to make a success of this business? And in that moment, I realized that I actually hadn't. Although I thought I had at the time, I really hadn't, because I didn't really know anything about business. I just knew about hairdressing. I didn't know anything about business and I didn't go out and learn it. I didn't know anything about marketing. I just didn't. I just thought being a good hairdresser was enough. I seen other people do it and I thought, well, they're doing it, so it should be okay. I can do it too. And that was my kind of, my reasons for opening. And then there I found myself in that staff room thinking, I'm going to give this a go. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to turn this around and see what I'm truly capable of. And I realised that fear had been holding me back, whether it was fear of ambition, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, all these things that are underlying in us all, had been holding me back really from really putting myself out there. And I made a pact with myself in that moment in the staff room that I was going to, go out there, get the knowledge, change my mindset. I'd already started working on some mindset shifts and stuff. And I decided that I was going to do everything I could to take action, to turn it around. And everything that I would learn, it was almost like a a deal with the universe, if you like, that everything that I would learn along the way, I would share and give back to other salons. And I stuck to my word, and I've done that ever since. That was in 2009 in May. By next year, in 2010, I was the first person in the world to create a Facebook marketing course specifically for salons and spas. Not many were using it back then at all, especially for business. So I stuck to my word, and that's what I've been doing ever since, and grew into coaching from there, and turned the business around. Yeah.
So if anyone, I mean, obviously these are really difficult times with the pandemic, with local lockdowns, everything that's going on. And there's probably a lot of people listening to this who are feeling at rock bottom or very close to. And if they are there, and you said you had that moment of realization, but how do you, I mean, it's a very strength of character, isn't it, I suppose, to kind of be that low and to get yourself up again. What can they do? Like, is there something they can do to kind of help themselves to get back up?
For me, it was almost like a letting go of realization of letting go. I was at rock bottom anyway, and it was about choice. And I thought, I can either stay here and keep feeling this and keep wallowing on this and, choose to see it from this perspective, or I can look at this from a completely different perspective and see, right, what do I have? What can I do? What have I got at my fingertips right now? Who can help me right now? And start to just look, it was making a choice of, first of all, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it around. I don't want to stay here. So I would say that it's, first of all, you need to make that choice, and you need to have that vision of where you want to go. So I made that choice that I'm not staying here. This is not the choice for me.
Yeah.
Right. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to shift in my mindset, in myself? And I started to do a lot of inner work. And I would say to anybody who's really feeling down at that level, it causes a lot of stress and a lot of pain. And we're looking at the world from this perspective of this stress and fear and pain. But when we are stressed like that, and when we have all these fear chemicals and hormones running through our body, we can't think clearly. And we can't get answers, and we can't get solutions. It's just how the body works. It's getting into fight or flight mode. So it's not, connected to our own sort of inner self and energy, if you like, or, universal source energy, whatever you want to call it. It's not connected. We don't get answers. We just keep seeing the problem, and we cannot see past the problem. So things like mindfulness, is so important at times like that, to calm yourself so you can start to think more clearly. It wasn't a quantum leap. It was very much in stages. That's what I would say to people as well. It's, first of all, make that choice, and the first step is to go inside yourself and be more mindful and there's so many tools out there, like meditations on YouTube. There's so many things out there for free that you can do. And there's loads of, challenges and little things that you can get involved in that help keep you calmer. There's so much out there now. I've been teaching mindset and mindfulness for over 10 years. And it didn't used to be as available as it is now. Go onto YouTube, you can find free guided meditations and things like that just bring your power back to yourself and be calm enough that you can start to see solutions and see answers. And really it is that choice of, right, this is the way forward. And the other thing I would say as well is, there's universal laws. Let's say the law of relativity and perspective of every situation. You can look at it from a different perspective. So as you talked about just now, there's so much going on in the world with COVID and, talking of more lockdowns and things like that. And we can choose to look at it from so many different perspectives. One of them being, I have no choice, I'm stuck here, there's no way out of this. And the other one is looking at things like, well, there's actually more money and help available. I didn't have any of that at the time that I was aware of. There wasn't any support that if I closed my salon down for a few weeks, I would get support or help, or, there was none of that at the time, but I still got through it. There is things out there, and it's there's grants and there's bits and pieces that you can, go out and research and apply for, and just be really active, and there's so much free education out there as well. So even if we are in lockdown again, you're coming out of it on the other side more empowered and more powerful to make sure that if it ever happens again in the future, you'll never be in the same position as you're in today.
Yeah, amazing. So you now work, don't you? You've got a salon, you're a motivational speaker, you run boot camps, and I think you've helped over 1,500 salons, haven't you, here and in America? And when you meet salon owners, what do you hear from them? What are the main things that are holding them back from making their business a success? And is it the same for freelancers? Is it the same kind of ethos and the same things that are holding them back too?
Yes, I would say so. And, going back to the whole mindset thing, I do talk about this a lot. It's not all that I teach, but I see it as the foundation of everything. So to build a successful business, whether you're a freelancer, whether you rent shares, whether you employ people.
Yeah.
The ultimate foundation is our mindsets and our self-identity, etc. So, for example, things like pricing. Pricing comes up so often that people are so scared to price what they should be pricing, and they're not pricing for profits, and they just have so many limiting beliefs around pricing that it's not about business, it's about their limiting beliefs. So I often have to deal with things like that first before we get to the pricing strategies. So it's like I have these 4 pillars, which are we teach the mindset first, so you've got that strong foundation to build everything else on. Then comes the marketing. So that's why a lot of it comes back to this foundation, which is mindset, where it's people's fears. It's their fear of failure, fear of judgment. They're scared of investing in themselves. They're scared of parting with that money to invest in themselves, to get the website, to stand out. And as you say, even if you're a freelancer, having the website and having people find you, for example, when they're searching things like, let's just say it's a mobile hairdresser in whatever name the town or city is. If you have a website and you're coming up number 1 and you've got a lot of people searching that, then that's automated. It's doing the work for you. It just takes that investment of getting it done for you. But so many people are too scared to make that investment because they're scared of loss rather than thinking of what they're going to gain. What they're really scared of is that they will be judged. They're scared that the customer will confront them, or they're scared of confrontation. So it all comes back to all these inner fears of what, in their head they're thinking, I am worth that. I'm so good at what I do.
Yeah.
But this fear of being judged by others or having this confrontation or anything like that is what holds them back. Whereas really, they know they're worth it. They do know they're worth it deep down, but the fear is holding them back. So it's often things like that. And also, from the marketing side, it's just, so one thing is the mindset needs upgraded, but also the skill set. So often they don't have the skill set around marketing because, like myself, they're really good at what they do, but they don't have the marketing training behind them. They try it once or twice, it doesn't work, and then they go, that doesn't work. So they don't understand the marketing on a bigger level. So it's definitely worth investing in learning. That's my 2 key things, is mindset and marketing, because it doesn't matter if you're a freelancer, you need those 2 skills. Or if you are running you've got a chain of salons, you need those 2 skills. You need other skills as well. You need management and systems and maintenance, etc. But those 2 core foundations, the mindset and the marketing, the mindset and skill set is, they definitely need that.
Yeah. And in your training as well, I was looking, you talk about helping people find their unique selling purpose and their niche. And I suppose for someone who's not done that before, where would they start?
It's thinking about if I can just sort of narrow this into the most simplest thing, is think about it as an avatar. So when you're doing marketing, you want to market to, because I'll say to people, who wants more clients? Everyone puts their hands up. Yes, I want more clients. And what kind of clients do you want? Any client. I'll take any client that breathes. but that's not true. That's not the case, because if you're a hair extension specialist, you don't want to get your adverts in front of a bald man, for example. It's so you're wasting your budget and your marketing spend. You're trying to get in front of people who will never be your customer ever. Or you want professional, let's say you want professional women and you want them to pay, that's who your target market is, and you want them paying premium for your services, etc. But you're doing these big discounts and you're marketing in the wrong places. The messages are not congruent with who you're trying to attract, if that makes sense. So your marketing message needs to be congruent with the person that you're trying to attract. So if you do, for example, let's just say Facebook marketing, for example, if I want, let's just say I'm a makeup artist and my skill is fashion makeup. So most people that would have that between the ages of 18 and 30. I'm just making this up, but let's say that's who their target market is. So if you don't target that target market with the right message for them, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your budget, because we can't be all things to all people. As much as we'd like to be, we can't. So it actually dilutes our message when we try to be. So it's better to niche our message, speaking to who we know as our ideal client avatar. And it doesn't matter that it repels the people who are not. If that makes sense, that's part of the marketing process. It's like the attraction. It's like a magnet. You have this attraction, and there's a repulsion as well. It's like the positive and negative sides. You've got to put your message that it's attracting the people you want, and it's okay that it repels the people that you don't want, because they're not your ideal client anyway.
Perfect. And I've seen before, you were talking about you used £5 of Facebook adverts, and you turned it into sort of thousands of pounds worth of bookings. And again, was that the principles you used for that? So, and obviously everyone wants to harness social media for their business. So any kind of advice you've got?
Yeah, certainly. So my Facebook strategy, and what I teach a lot of my students, my Salon Jedi students, is that with £5, even just as little as something that's £5, you could even do, like we do £5 a day, but you could do £1 a day. You could do as little as that, but obviously you're going to reach less people. But even from just £5 a day, you can turn that into, attracting loads of new clients. Now, how we do this, I'll just tell you a little bit about the Facebook marketing strategy that we use. If you think of it like dating, so many people just want to sell straight away. So they're just posting on social media and they don't know how to sell. So they're posting and posting and posting. They're not getting anybody buying. So then they resort to discounting. And then they see everyone else discounting, and then that's all, because they run out of ideas. Rather than being more niche, as in standing out and being like, we're the balayage experts and targeting the right people who would be interested in balayage, that type of thing. You can really target in on Facebook to a narrow niche. It's phenomenal. People don't realize that you can do that. So for example, if you are a wedding hair expert, you can target people on Facebook who have been recently engaged. So you can target women who have been engaged in the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and you put your niche advert in front of them, just in front of them, no one else, just people that have been engaged. That's what I mean about niching down. So the first thing I would do, let's just use that as an example. So rather than just which you could target them and just be like, hey, come in for a trial or whatever, put some offer in front of them. But if you think of it like dating, wouldn't it be better that you target these people, but you don't try and sell anything yet? You just show a video of your work. How wonderful would that be? So they're scrolling through and they're seeing, have you been recently engaged? And they're like, yeah, I have. How do you know? And they're seeing this video. They see this video of, 5 tips for choosing your wedding hair. And it's got, 5 different looks of, how it fits with your dress, or don't use your hair down if you've got a dress like this, or whatever it is. Some kind of educational, informative, show yourself as that expert video that they're going to consume and enjoy and find value in. And then what you can do is all the people that watch that video, so for example, we've got one video, we had 150,000 people that watched that one video. All the people that watch that video, that you can then retarget those people and say to Facebook, could you now send me an actual advert where I do now ask them to do something, like sign up for a trial, or would you like something like that, book a trial or book a call, or, book a consultation about your hair, whatever it is, some kind of call to action. So if you think of it like dating, you wouldn't walk into a bar and be like, hi, would you like to go out with me? Well, you might, but hi, would you like to get married? Hi, would you like to get married? Asking for a commitment before you even know them. No, you want to be seen first, a little bit of flirting. You want to be seen first. So if you think of the marketing like that, is get seen first, get your videos out there in front of your target market, get seen first, then retarget them with the sale, and then ask them for a commitment. Marketing's a journey, and what happens is they'll boost a post. Most people will just boost a post trying to sell something. That didn't work because they've boosted it just to anybody, not to their target market, and they go, that didn't work, and then they just don't do it again, and then they give up. And then they go to discounting, and that's what happens so often.
And I was reading as well that you've given away 200 training courses, which I think was during lockdown, was it? Which is absolutely fantastic. And again, for the salon owners who've had those courses, what's the feedback been from them? Have they, obviously, because when you start a salon, you're not a business expert, are you? There's no, you're obviously an expert in hair and beauty, but you're not necessarily a business expert.
So yeah, we did a lot of things really. Well, we do a lot of things actively anyway, but during lockdown we escalated it even more. Sort of in the last 12 months we gave away about 6 figures worth of free training and education, scholarships, like a year of inside our academy. We gave away so much, but the main course that we gave away that you're talking about there was actually more, it was a mindset course, so it was to really help. It was to help during lockdown, and we got phenomenal feedback from it, and people were sharing it with their teams, with all their stylists and stuff like that. So we had phenomenal feedback with that. It's called the Mindful Salon Source Code. So it really helped them. It also helps you dive into your passion and your mission and your niche a bit more, explains more about the niche and why you should have that and have a mission in your salon, etc. But also it was across the board. It helped stylists, assistants and things like that as well. So we gave away like you say, I think it was over 200, I think it was in the end, of those free courses. And we also have a thing as well, which is, we still have this running, by the way. We have our academy membership. We have our main academy, which starts from quite a few £1,000s, so not everybody can get into there. But what we did during lockdown is we created a little mini version. We call it our Academy Lite, and it's got in there a mix of little training videos, like you say, on mindset, marketing, Facebook marketing. Obviously, it's a mini version, but still fantastic for, especially if it's people that aren't employing staff yet and things like that, or they are, but maybe they've lost a bit of staff and they're struggling a bit, etc. So it's definitely good for people that are feeling a bit stuck. Those who have already got a good foundational knowledge, they're probably more, they need a bit more advanced stuff. But what we're doing at the moment is you can go in and access everything for free for 14 days. If you stay, you stay. If you don't, you don't. But, if that was helpful to any of your listeners, that's something. So there's 2 weeks worth of free education that we're still giving away at the moment. Just because people need it at the moment, they do need it. So, yeah.
Exactly. And I was also reading an interview you've done in the past, and you talked about suffering from panic attacks and anxiety. And again, I suppose a lot of people have struggle with their mental health and have anxiety, especially in times like this. So have you got any advice for anyone for helping themselves if they're feeling that way?
Yeah, I did. That's something that I've it's been a part of my life for a long, long time, for many, many, many years. I just managed to control it a lot better now. And when I say control it, I guess I would mean more guide it. So it's not that once you've experienced that kind of energy, like depression or panic attacks, anxiety or anything like that, once that's been in your experience, you still have the memory of it. But it's not about getting rid of it and it disappears. It's more how you change that energy. So, universally, as they say, we are all energy. We're all vibrating at a certain level. We are all energy. And when I was as low as that, and that was the energy vibration that I was on, I feel like what I've done is, rather than get rid of that, I've just sort of changed that energy and guided it to more a positive, higher vibration where that doesn't exist, if that makes sense. So it's like when I started to do the internal work, and I started to do the meditation and the mindset stuff, and being a lot calmer and managing to get myself into that energetic state of being calmer, that doesn't exist. The anxiety and all that kind of stuff, that doesn't exist, because I've guided my energy to this calm state where it's, I feel calm, I feel good, self-empowerment, and how I speak to myself, and affirmations, and just learning more about universal laws and all of these things, and mindsets have just helped empower me over the years. So I would say to somebody, if they're suffering with this right now, it's not about killing it dead and getting rid of it and all that kind of stuff. It's because the more you focus on that, you're actually focusing on that thing, and the fear of that thing. I used to live with this fear of it happening again. That was the worst part, was the fear of it happening again, because you had the memory of it being so horrible. So I lived with this fear of it happening again, but it wouldn't happen again, because I always learned how to bring myself to that calm place. And I knew that if I focused on that fear of it happening again, it would trigger it, because you get more of what you focus on. So it's learning to move your focus away from that and into a place of more calm and control. And it's really internal work that does that. That would really be my advice, is shifting your vibration, shifting what you're focusing on, and using and learning techniques. Even just like breathing is so important. We do this around our salon. We do it, all our salon Jedis do it. My mentor John Asaraf, who some people might know him from the film or the book The Secret, and I work with him, and one of his things is take 6. It's where you just stop and you do your 6 breaths, deeply in and slowly out. Just take 6. And when you're having that anxious moment, stressful moment, even worried moment, whatever it is just throughout the day, it's taking 6. And even your stylist can do it in the salon. And when you do it and you actually stop and you slow down, you take 6 deep breath in, deep breath out, like you afterwards, you're just you just feel so much calmer. And it's just little tools like that, the simplest little tools that can help so much. I'd also say to anybody listening, if they ever want to reach out to me or anything like that, feel free, and I can give any support that I possibly can from my experience. That's all I can do, really.
Amazing. And obviously you've just written a book, The Salon Jedi, the big business breakthrough for ambitious salon owners. So why did you write it, and how is it going? What's the feedback been?
It has been phenomenal. It's like more than I could have even thought. It's been one of those things, they say everyone has a book in them, which I believe, we all have that. We can all achieve whatever we set our minds to. I truly believe that. This being a best-selling author and international speaker, this kind of titles, if you like, these achievements, I put this in my dream book years ago, because I thought to myself, what could I, if I knew that this mindset stuff works, what could I achieve that I would never ever do? And this was one of them. So it was a bit of there was a few reasons for doing it. It was a bit of a self achievement thing, like I've done it, wow, I've actually done this thing, I've manifested this and created it. But actually it was driven more by lockdown. Like I say, we gave away so much information for free and that kind of stuff, and supported people, but I wanted to get something where I take all my sort of foundational knowledge, if you like, and put it into one place, into a book. So maybe you're not ready to invest inside my full academy yet and work for a year with me. However, this is a brilliant starting place that's got the structure in here. It's got my 4 pillars in here. So much tips on, how to upsell, rebooking, like practical sales tips, increasing your average bill, rebooking, all that kind of stuff. How to grow your column 60%. It's got a lot of stuff in there, and I just wanted to use lockdown in a positive way, that something would come out of it that was like, wow, I've put my energy and focus into creating something positive to come out of it. I made a bet with my kids at the start of lockdown that I would be a best-selling author.
Amazing! That's amazing.
But I lost the bet, because I said by the end of August, and it actually happened at early September. So.
Oh, well done. That's brilliant. And just, I should have asked you at the start, actually, Salon Jedi, what's the inspiration behind that name?
Do you know what? It really is. At the time, this was back in 2010, and, I'm a big Star Wars fan, I am, but also it was just the term Jedi is about mastering something and being a master at something, and how it fits in with the whole Jedi mindset and stuff like that as well. And it just seemed to fit, the word Jedi is just being that master. And what we do is we help ambitious salon owners, or business owners, should I say. I mean, mostly it's self-employed. Sometimes we have freelancers as well. So we help ambitious salon business owners to become masters of their business, Jedi masters of their business. So they're sort of standing in their own mastery, feeling in control of their business, because I know what it feels like to feel completely out of control of your business. You're just completely out of control, and you certainly are not standing in your self-mastery. So my mission is to help those salon owners achieve that.
And if you were to look back at yourself in that staff room in 2009, and what would you tell yourself now, after having been through everything you've been through and where you are today? What would be your message to yourself then?
It would be to trust yourself, trust the journey, trust the process, you can do it, kind of thing. I guess back then I did have that faith anyway. Once I committed to it, I had that faith that I would see it through. Whether that's just an inner instinct or something like that. And that's what I would say to anyone else is, back yourself. You have the ability to do it. You have the ability to turn it around. Everything that's stopping you mostly lies from within you, just from in your subconscious mind and deepest fears. You have the ability to turn it around. And I would say, trust yourself and back yourself, and trust your instincts along the way. And I would also say to myself, I would warn myself, it's a bumpy ride, be prepared. It didn't just go from, okay, I made a decision, it's been smooth for the last 10 years. That is not how life works. But what I learned to do was deal with the emotions of the journey, and strap yourself in.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you. Really appreciate your time, and good luck with the book.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to our Salon Services podcast with music by audionautics.com. If you'd like to find out more about Caroline and her Salon Jedi training, go online at salonjedimarketing.com. Thanks very much, and see you next time.